Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video we have some massive Nintendo Switch 2 updates, rumors, news, and leaks. I'm talking about as big as it can possibly be, at least here in the year 2026, right? And if just half of this stuff is true, which I'm pretty sure almost all of it's true, I think the latter half of 2026 is going to be the better half for the Switch 2, and that's a lot to be excited for. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. So yes, I am officially back from vacation. That's why I'm back in my bedroom. Maybe you've heard one or two of these updates because, I've been out of town, but you probably haven't seen all this stuff. But just in case you have, come on, baby. Let me talk about what I need to talk about, right? What are we doing here? Isn't that why we're here? So thanks for sticking around this video, man. Very exciting stuff. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. Also, if you could follow me on Instagram and Twitter, well, hey, that would really help the communities grow. And yeah, let's go and get right into this one. So the first thing I want to do is talk about news about Final Fantasy on the Switch 2. And Final Fantasy on the Switch 2 so far has been a dream. Now, I'm a pretty big Final Fantasy fan, but there is one area where I just really have no idea what the hell is going on, and that is for Final Fantasy 14. So we got an official release date for this, and that is August 4th, right? But it's so confusing because it's like, is this a paid game? Is it a free-to-play game? But there's also a free trial. What the hell is going on here? So as far as I know right now, on August 4th, you'll be able to play the game, or there's like a trial for 30 days, right? Now, after that 30 days runs out, there will be a monthly subscription fee, which I'm not sure about that price because this is an online only game, but you don't need to have Nintendo Online to play it, but you have to pay this Final Fantasy subscription. Now, there's also a couple of other editions, which I think there's like a collector's edition and some other edition. But as far as I know, that comes with like more outfits and items and stuff like that. So I would say if you are interested in playing this, which me being a Final Fantasy fan, you would think I'm all for this, but honestly, it's almost too overwhelming for me. So I think it's something I'm probably not even going to check out, even though it is free to start or free to play or whatever. I just think, I need to pick and choose what I play at this point in my life. And if it's not something I think I'm going to get sucked into and really want to dedicate my time to, I'll probably just end up skipping it, and that's okay. You don't have to play every single game. Now, here's what's even crazier about this. The download size is estimated to be 117 gigabytes on the Switch 2, and that would make it the largest Switch 2 game, even over Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So you might need to make some storage for this, but this is right around the corner, so pretty cool stuff. Now, let's get into a potential leak, which would be staggering if true. And what I'm talking about is Nintendo may have acquired Xenosaga. And if that's true, that would be absolutely one of the biggest things to happen in recent gaming history. So the trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Switch 2 Edition revealed that Momo, a Xenosaga character, will be added as a cameo blade. Users noticed that the announcement had no Bandai licensing watermark, leading to speculation that Nintendo could have acquired the rights themselves. Supposedly, Bandai removed Xenosaga from their Japanese licenses webpage between October and November of last year. And yeah, this is really cool, or potentially cool. Now, there was somebody in the comments who tried to debunk this due to some licensing or trademark stuff, but apparently that wasn't actually debunked because what they were pulling up was 6 months prior. And if you look at some of the pieces, it could make sense. One, maybe Nintendo themselves didn't directly acquire them, but what I think could have happened is Monolith Soft could have acquired Xenosaga. And I'm just doing this off stuff I've read, but I think the next Xenoblade game could potentially tie into Xenosaga or something like that. I'll be honest, as big as a fan as I am of JRPGs, the classics and the moderns, I've never played anything Xenosaga related, so I can't say like, yeah, that makes sense or not. But another thing we have to look at is Bandai Namco and Nintendo's relationship, which is very strong. So I could see Nintendo or Monolith Soft acquiring Xenosaga. And I also think there actually might be an anniversary of Xenosaga coming up, or maybe it just passed or something. So yes, this isn't anything set in stone, but I do think there actually might be something there, and that would be very, very cool, because essentially they would be reviving what seems to be like a dead franchise. Now, August is absolutely stacked for Nintendo Switch 2 games. Aside from first party stuff, this might be the absolute best month for the Switch 2 in 2026, just hands down. It might actually end up being the best month. Every month I make a video about like games coming out for that month. I cannot wait to make it for August. One of those games I was on the fence about, not because I'm not curious or want to play it, but because of, unfortunately, when the game came out on other platforms, yeah, it was playable, but it felt like it was all but abandoned. And what I'm talking about is the Oblivion remake. And you could be like, well, you know, that's Bethesda jank. But I think this was a little bit further than Bethesda jank. It was just straight up unplayable sometimes, or I would see some people getting their save files deleted, just a lot of problems. So people were like, well, if it's the same port of that on the Switch 2, it kind of kills all of the hype. But I think the Switch 2 port is like being focused on so much that they're actually going to just straight up fix the game because of the Switch 2 version. So this is coming in response to Mr. Matty Plays, which is a great YouTuber. I think they have a couple channels, Retro Rebound and Mr. Matty Plays, obviously, and maybe another one. I actually watch them periodically. But they asked Bethesda some questions, and there's a couple questions in there I honestly just don't care about. But the very first one, or the very first answer we're going to talk about, is very promising in my opinion. So they say, the remaster team hopes to bring Oblivion Remastered Switch 2 optimizations to console and PC. So straight up, the Switch 2 port seems like it's going to be the best and most optimized version of the Oblivion remake, which is awesome. And, you know, they kind of have to optimize it to get it in a playable state on the Switch 2. So maybe they're like, well, we've been working on this port for over a year. It doesn't make sense to only work on it for the Switch 2. So maybe the day it comes out on the Switch 2, they just release an update or something, like a substantial update across all platforms. That's best case scenario. Now, it does sound a little greedy, but I'm just like, well, I don't really care about the other platforms. I just care about how it's going to be on the Switch 2. And honestly, it seems like it's going to be great on the Switch 2. Like, if it's the same version we were getting on PlayStation and Xbox, but just better optimized, well, hey, that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I always said I was super late to the Skyrim party. I didn't play Skyrim until 2025, and I loved it, and I wanted more. And this is, I mean, I know it's not more Skyrim, but it's, you know, it's as close as I can get to more on the Switch 2. So I'm very excited for this. And I went from I'm excited till, well, I don't know, I'll probably end up skipping this one, to it's back on my radar. Obviously, I'll wait for the reviews to come out, but I think this is something I can see myself picking up on the Switch 2, and that sounds pretty cool. Now, obviously, the biggest news to hit the Nintendo Switch 2 news network, system of networks, whatever, over the past few days was the Ocarina of Time remake, Zelda. Why did I just say it like that? The Zelda Ocarina of Time remake Pro controller leaking out, but then it turns out it wasn't for the Ocarina of Time remake. It was a 40th anniversary Zelda Pro controller. So when people heard that or read that, they took that and said, oh, that's what people are talking about. There's no console, which, like, financially, I guess for consumers and coming from Nintendo, it's hard to make somebody buy. Sorry, my eyebrow keeps. Oh, I had hair on me. Sorry. It's hard to make somebody buy a whole nother console. You know, the world is so expensive. Just to be alive is so expensive right now. So buying another console, I don't know. Buying another controller, well, you're probably going to do that at some point anyway, so that makes a lot of sense. But it turns out, no, there's still a console on the way. So let's break down all these leaks. So just to recap, Necrolipe and Mike Odyssey heard that Nintendo is about to reveal a Zelda-themed Switch 2 Pro controller instead of a Zelda-themed Switch 2 console. It has a Triforce emblem in the center in between the plus and minus buttons. Is that what we're calling it? Start, select, plus, minus? I don't know. And its handle grips are green with gold, just like the handle grips of the Splatoon-themed Switch Pro controller. So yeah, that sounds like it's going to be, in fact, a Zelda-themed controller. But from the moment this leak started going around, I just thought, I don't know, man. I really think they're still going to do this console, because if there's any time to do a special theme console aside from a Mario one, I think the Zelda one just makes the most sense. I think the Zelda stuff is normally the coolest. You know, saying that, I'm actually kind of lying to you though, because the Zelda Switch OLED and the Zelda Pro Controller, I actually didn't really care for any of those. This is actually my favorite Nintendo Switch model that released the entire generation, and it's just gold, black, little Triforce there, you know, big symbol here. I know it's not for everybody, but I like how it's gold and it reminds me of the NES cartridge. So maybe this time around, coming from the Switch to the Switch 2, the Zelda consoles are just a little bit cooler. But now let's talk about the console. Special Nick, which is an insider, right? Like, they talk about stuff when they actually know, they're not so much a leaker, and they, I guess technically leaked out all this stuff before even Nate the Hate did about the Ocarina of Time remake. So they say, Zelda-themed Special Edition Switch 2 console is indeed still coming, disputing previous rumors that only a Special Edition controller will release. Yes, both the controller and console are Zelda-themed, not necessarily Ocarina. So you think the console's still coming? And they say, yep. So what it's starting to seem like is they're releasing it for the Ocarina of Time remake, or, you know, in release with that game, but it's not going to be Ocarina of Time remake related or themed. It's just going to be Zelda themed, or potentially 40th anniversary themed. And if it had a 40th anniversary logo, I actually think that would do a lot better. It would look a lot cooler, and it would mean a little bit more, because these anniversaries only come around so much. This is technically the third time we'll have Ocarina of Time, so I would be a big fan of the anniversary edition or whatever. I actually have this right here as well, now that I think about it. This is the 30th anniversary Link amiibo, and it's like an NES sprite of Link. I don't think we got any 35th anniversary Zelda merch. Maybe the Game & Watch, that was it. So if they did a line of amiibos, a console, a Pro Controller, obviously we'll get the game, we'll get the Zelda movie trailer. I really think that would be a really good anniversary, all things considered. And I hope they do something weird and wacky like this as well. Just, I love this amiibo, and I think it's absolutely just atrocious and ugly, but it has a lot of character, and it's 30th anniversary, so that's pretty cool. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys, truly. Let me know what you guys are thinking about all this stuff. And like I said, I was on vacation. I'm back now, so news should be more current. But we had a lot to talk about. So let me know what you guys are thinking, and if you made it to this part of the video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Consider becoming a channel member. And you guys know me. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.